A young governor in Venezuela wins a landslide victory and will now take on Hugo Chavez in the election coming up later this year. It was a turnout victory, and we go to Cajol Vios in Venezuela for an update on this. Significant in terms of the amount of voters that turned out in this primary. Is that what stands out in terms of this, what happened over the weekend?
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. Yeah, definitely voter turnout was the biggest story here. Pablo Perez, who was the runner-up candidate, losing to the young governor, Henrique Capriles in his concession speech yesterday, said, he acknowledged that more than anything, the sheer number of people that came out to vote, roughly 3 million people out of 18 million eligible voters turned out in the for the primary election. There were initially expectations for anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million showing up, but it has far exceeded many expectations. And a lot of analysts now are saying that this could be a sign for some kind of advancement and some galvanization and some unity among the opposition forces. Venezuela's opposition has been very fractured in the past, in previous elections, but this year, it seems that they have been able to elect a unity candidate, and they have all supported him, and for the moment look to be rallying behind him ahead of the October elections.
And tell our viewers why it's so significant when it may not strike people when you say 3 million or 2+ million out of nearly 18 eligible, but in the reporting that you and your colleagues have done, what are the conditions that might defer some people in Venezuela from wanting to come out and vote in the primary?
Sure, Neil. Well, Venezuela has an extremely polarized political society. The supporters of the government and those against, there's very difficult in many difficulties in communicating there, and many voters have said there's been a lot of fear tactics used against them in voting, especially in the primaries. Some public sector employees said they were actually afraid to vote, in fear of losing their job. Here when you vote, as in many other countries, they do a ink dye kind of stain on your pinky, but they had made that optional in this primary election just because they wanted as many people to vote as possible without having to fear any kind of repercussions.
And I think we have a picture here of Capriles, who won the primary and will take on Hugo Chavez in the presidential election coming up in October.